So do I. Just
okay.
Look here, or do I look here?
I look at the camera.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
because it's like you're
talking to you.
Exactly, because you're looking at them then. If you're looking at the camera. If you look at the button, then you're looking up somebody that we can't see over here in the corner.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Okay. So anyways, hello everybody, your favorite fabulous fairy here, and we're on the Conversation Stash. Today we're with Jessica Hamilton. Hello.
Hello.
And we're going to be talking about karmatics and karmatic relationships. So, as a twin flame, I have had my karmatic relationship. It was a 9-year stint, and it actually involved a friend and a lover. And then that was my stint. And this woman right here has had even more karmatic relationships than I have had. And so if you're thinking to yourself, well, can karmatic relationships be more than one? Is that like a once and you're done kind of a thing? Can you have something about you that calls multiple karmatic people into your life? The answer on that is a definite yes. So we're going to hear more about that right now. So, hello, Jessica. How are you today?
Hi, Shaenna. I'm good.
Are you away from the karmatics?
Yes, finally.
Okay.
No more.
So how many karmatic relationships do you think you've had?
Well, I gotta think. There was that one.
Oh, and totally,
That's 3 or 4.
You don't have to name anybody. If you want to
Okay.
give them
Alias.
an alias, that's fine, or a letter or a numeral or whatever, that's completely fine.
I'll go by numbers.
Okay,
Make it easier.
there you
Yeah.
go. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 4.
4.
Good Lord, you had 4. Okay, so start us at the first one and just kind of work us through. And give us like a synopsis on. So, how did you meet them? Where did it go south? At what point did it go south? What to turn them into a karmatic in your mind, and then how did you get away?
So we'll start with number 1. Number 1, I met him just after high school. It was one of those where I thought it would be like the person I would marry, the person I would be with. And then it started turning when how negative he really got, like towards the relationship, towards me. And that's when it just went downhill from there.
Was this like physically abusive, emotionally abusive?
It was physically abusive, it was emotionally, it was both. And it was something I did not see coming. I never saw any of this. I didn't see any signs. I didn't see nothing.
How long were you together before things went south?
At that point, I think it was about a year.
Okay, so you were together a good long time. You felt like you knew who you were with. You felt like this is somebody...
I felt this was someone, it was like that flame where you just wanted to be with that person, but it turned out it was a flame, but it was not the one that... that's the one you wanted to be with. It wasn't a good feeling. It was not good.
So what were some of the things that happened physical and mental, emotional? You don't have to go into extreme detail, but was this like a daily thing? Was this like...
It was a daily, and every day it was a shock different because it was something different. It was to the point where he was like, you're all mine, and it got to where it was... determined my day would be. That's how possessive it got. But again, I thought this was the person I was supposed to be with, but I didn't know that he was my karmatic. And in the worst, I think he was my worst karmatic ever. But like I said again, I thought this was the person I was supposed to be with. This was the one. I was like, oh, well, he's just going through this, he's going through that, making excuses for him. And that's not the case. You don't do that with someone that you care about.
Well, let's just back up for a second. Some people might not understand what we mean when we're saying a karmatic. So what is it that you mean when you're saying a karmatic? What is that to you?
He's the polar opposite of what you would ever want someone else to be. It's draining physically, emotionally, mentally. It's not good. It's that quicksand feeling where you just keep going down and down and down, and then it just seems like there's no way to get out until one day it's just like there's that window, you take it, and then when you take it and it's gone, you realize everything that you've seen and how really polar negative that energy is towards you and your life and everything that you put into it, which is the crazy thing because that's just how it happened.
Well, and then more than that, also, a karmatic is somebody who you can't seem to get away from for some reason. I just noticed I don't have my rings on. I had to take them off last night because my hand was tingling. It was the weirdest thing, and I've never taken my rings off. That's really... Sorry, everybody. That just freaked me out right now. It's like years of having them on. I'm like, look, it's like different color skin and stuff. Sorry, okay, let me collect myself for a moment. So, yeah, a karmatic is also somebody who you can't seem to get away from this person for some reason. So, try as she might to maybe end it, change something up, make it better, get away, break it off. they wouldn't let it to happen. It was almost like the second she would start to get her bearings and like, okay, I'll be okay on my own, that's when they come back and they do that little carrot dangle thing where they pull you back.
I told my the first one, I told him when I had that strength to say, look, you need to get your stuff, you need to leave, this is over, this is done. He laughed in my face and said, I'm not going anywhere, this is my house. And that, but then it went back to, I'm sorry, things will change, it'll be different. And then, like she said, there was that carrot that I was like, okay, well, but you said that before. No, this is serious, it's this time. And then it just, again, avalanche after avalanche after avalanche.
So how did you finally break up with that Karmatic?
Man, it's been so long, I haven't thought about that. Hold on, I may need a second. How did that happen? Oh, it was one night, where...
Da 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 da.
I'm trying to remember. We were fighting about something. And I told him, I said, look, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I've had enough. It's time to leave. It's time to break apart. I just need to get away from you. And... No, I apologize. It was when there was a confrontation between a family member of mine and him. And from then, he moved from my house, because he was living with me, to his parents' house. And from there, it was a phone call that I got, because he was demanding me, because if he wasn't there to control how everything was, then it was a phone call every day, every 15 minutes, is, why didn't you call me? And it was him wanting me to go over to his house. He said, but you need to ask my father for permission. I said, but you're there, ask him. He said, no, you're coming over, ask him. He hangs up on me. I call his father, and he said, yeah, you have permission to come over. I said, okay. I called him, he didn't answer.
Can I come over to the house I don't really want to go to? I don't hang out with the person I don't want to see. Would that be
really
okay
didn't
with
want
you?
to, but it was that sucking in thing that I was like, okay, well, I'll do it. So then it got to where I think I called him, he didn't answer. I called back, and he didn't answer. So I just said, you know what, I'm done. And when he finally called me back, he said, why aren't you here yet? I said, well, I tried calling you and you didn't answer. And he got mad at me. He hung up the phone on me, and that was it. And then he tried calling back, and then he came over, and that was when we got into a verbal argument. And I told him, I said, look, I'm done. We're already in separate houses. It's just going downhill from here. I'm done. And then I felt that I was done. Didn't want no more. There was nothing he could say. There was nothing he could do. It was just, that's it. It's done. It stops. Moving on. And it felt amazing, because I didn't realize how draining it was for emotionally, physically. I would just sit there and I was just like, I don't have anything left. Like, that's what I thought too after him, was I thought I didn't have anything left, but...
So I was debating if I should allow them to know this part of it or not, and maybe this is a good thing and maybe this is a bad thing, but I guess I will just say it because I'm pretty open. Everybody knows I'm pretty open. About 10 years after her encounter with this person, unknowingly to me, I had no idea that her and him ever existed as a thing, he found his way into my life. And it was just the same. It was completely abusive and horrible, and it was very much, you can... come here and I'll love you, and then an actual physical abuse, and the person ended up breaking my wrist and leaving me on the side of the road and for dead, covered in blood, and then they tried to kill themselves by laying in front of the road, covered in black, like literally to get ran over themselves. And even after that had happened, they dangled the carrot, and I went to go see them twice more, and it ended in abuse in my situation twice more. So this person was not just a karmatic entity and soul. It's like they went on to affect her life in a way that still affects her today, affected my life in a way that still affects me today. And like it took, there was something about them that their habits are not changed. Their habits are exactly the same. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking like, man, maybe I was hard on my karmatic, maybe I should give them a second chance, maybe this is really something, maybe they have changed. My personal karmatic, that wasn't my karmatic. He just happened to come fly into my life. That was a weird thing. I got out, it was a year stint for us, but I got out pretty easier than she did, I feel like. But my actual karmatic of 9 years is still in the exact same place, doing the exact same thing, and the person that they're with talks about the same exact things that I talked to them about when me and them were together. So it's like, do the karmatics change? I really don't think that they do. I don't think they do for anybody. If they were to change, it would have to come from a really deep part inside themselves and force some serious soul searching, forgiveness, repentance, and I just don't think it happens, and I don't think that that's even I don't even think that they're meant to. Mm-hmm. I think that their job is literally to go and wreak havoc in people's lives, to force you to sit back and look and go like, oh shit, what, like the tornado happened to me too. Afterwards I was like, whoa, what was I just through? I was left with absolutely nothing, like literally nothing. I was even homeless. And I broken damn wrist and like no friends, no family, no nothing. And I was completely emotionally drained. And I was just like, what happened to me? So the fact that it happened to her, it happened to me, God bless whoever that person's with now, because they're going to need all the angels. You know what I mean? I hope you sleep with salt around you or something, like, God bless you. I hope you're okay, But it's like, so don't look back on your karmatics and go, man, I should have done, that was me. No. I really truly believe that they're here for a reason, and the reason is to be that there's checks and balances, and they're that check to our balance. So it's like there's that. Okay, karmic 2.
Okay, karmic number 2. I met him through my mother, who he had worked with. And she was like, oh, I'm going to give you the number to this guy. He's going to be great. You'll like him. He's handsome. He's all that stuff. I was like, okay. He was a couple years younger than me. So when we met, it was a date. He was coming to pick me up. And it was weird because the picture that he sent me didn't look like the picture of him. So I was like, I assumed he was one of his friends. He didn't want to come meet me. And he sent one of his friends. And he was like, no, it's me. And he named off all the stuff that was my mom. I was like, okay, so I know it's you.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was a second karmatic until... Oh, when did that happen? That would have been when all the cheating happened. It was... I didn't feel I was enough. I didn't feel I was good enough. I didn't feel that I was the reason for him to be with only me when I gave him everything like that. It went from texting girls to one night he didn't come home. He, again, lived with me, and he didn't come home, and it was 6 a.m. that he came back. He got off work at 2 at night because he worked at a casino. And he didn't come home till 6 a.m, 6 a.m. And I called him, and I texted him, and he texted back. He's like, shut the fuck up, I'll do whatever I want. And
so not even like, oh honey, I'll be home, don't worry. I mean, which honestly, if you're gonna play around, better to be sweet and try to fool them with kindness than be like, oh, shut the fuck up, because now you're like, oh, now I know something's going on, you know what I mean?
So, and it was all the texting when I would see him texting these other girls, and it was, when I asked him, I said, why are you doing it? And he said, well, I just want to see how far I can push it, how far I can get away with stuff. I said, but you were in a relationship with me. Why would you need anyone else? He just never answered. We were together.
Hold on. If he wants to see how far he can push it, if he could push it all the way to sex, then that leads to the fact that he would have sex, right?
Right.
So then where is the relationship part in here? If you're able to just go off and do whatever you want with whoever you want, then why are you saying that you're even with somebody to begin with? What's the point of having you? Like, I'm sorry, that just blew my mind right now.
No, I know. I don't either.
I'm a one person at a time kind of person.
Exactly. Me too. Like, I'm old school at that.
Yeah.
But apparently one wasn't enough. And it went to one time he actually gave me a bruise on my lip. And it was my lip right here. I was at school. I had a night class. I got out late. He was late picking me up, so I ended up calling the house. He said, I'll be there. And it was like 11 o'clock at night. He's like, I'll be there. Hold on. So he gets there, and he's like, I thought someone else was picking up. I said, no, I texted you right before my class started. You were going to pick me up, and you said yes. And it got to a whole argument where I told him, I said, you know what? I don't even want to be in the car with you. Just stop. I'll get out. I'll walk. And it was in the middle of over on Willow and International is where that happened. I said, I'll walk from home from here. Just, I don't need to be in this car. I just had this. And he said, Jessica, shut up. And he went to reach over like this. And when he did that, his hand reached over and hit me right here on the side of my mouth. The next day, I had a mark right here. And I was eating ice cream with him and his sisters, and they said, you got chocolate on your lip. And I said, like that? And they said, no. I went to the bathroom, and I was like, oh, my God, it's a bruise. And now he was also another one that dangled that carrot, and I said, okay, I'll take that carrot.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a one point where I was not going to go through my karmatic number 1 again. There was no way I was going to go through that. And it got to the point where we got into a verbal confrontation, and he got so mad at me that he put his hand around my throat, lifted me up. I was about that high off the ground, because when he let go, I didn't realize my feet were that high. My feet hit the floor, and I fell back. When he did that, I got up, and he did it again. But this time I hit him in his shoulder, and he dropped me, let me go. And that was the last time that happened.
Wow.
'Cause there was no way I was going to go through number 1 again.
Yeah.
But again, it was that, no, I love you. You know, we've been together for so long. Here's that carrot again. And it was like, no.
Y'all know I've been in this situation. The carrot slaps me upside the head. Like, that carrot's gonna poke me in the eye or something. I don't know. I don't trust that damn carrot. No.
It's a knife, and here's that carrot, and I'm like, all right.
I wonder if that's why I'm not fond of carrots anymore. I'm like, I used to like him as a child. I don't know what happened.
I still like carrots, but not those carrots.
Actually, I had some at the Improv the other night. We got to go see a show. My sister sent us tickets, and like that was the coolest thing I've ever done. You can just feel the atmosphere. But I had the chicken wings because I'm a chicken wing kind of girl. And they brought me celery and, like, 2 pieces of carrot, and I don't like celery, and I was like, so I didn't eat it, so I was still hungry, and I'm like, can I please have more carrots? I'll buy them, and she bought me a big old plate of carrots and some ranch. I was, like, sitting there like a little happy fat white girl with my carrots and ranch, you know what I mean? I was like, it's healthy and fattening at the same time. So, anyways, I digress.
No, it's okay.
Yes.
But yeah, but it was always that, you know, I felt like I wasn't good enough because he was out, and I was like, well, maybe it's something I'm doing, but it's not.
It seems like that person really, like, you were just a hardcore victim in that situation, and they were looking at you like somebody that was easily to manipulate, because I will tell you something, I've known this girl since high school. She's so sweet. She's real sweet. She's, like, humble and sweet. Like, what can I do for you? Am I being too loud? Yeah, I'll help you with whatever. You need help on your homework or whatever. Make a coffee. And I'm just like, you know, so people are like, oh, this fool right here, I could take her for whatever she's worth. And I get that kind of same vibe, too. People look at me and they're like, oh, well, you know, Shaenna's really nice, so let's go get one over on her. Nah, dude, you're messing with the wrong one. I'm really nice, but I'm really smart also. And if you mess with me, you're going to be wishing that you hadn't. And she's a little bit, I think, on that level now, but for a long time she was on the humble level where she was just taking it because that's all she knew.
It's all I knew.
And so, like, when that's how it is, and that's all you know, and you don't know that you can stand up for yourself, or you don't know that you even have the right to, or you have no idea that there isn't a relationship that doesn't end like this. Because I saw many, many abusive relationships when I was younger, and I've actually been through more than my fair share of both mental and physical abuse as well from many different relationships. And the thing about that is until my twin flame relationship, I didn't know that people could be nice to each other. I didn't know that people could love each other and talk things out. I didn't know that people could hold each other's hand and cuddle and not expect sex, and not even, you know, and not even be disappointed if it didn't happen, because they're just happy to be with you, and that you're more than just an object, and you're more than just a wallet.
You're a person.
Yeah, you're a person. Yeah. You're not a pussy in a purse. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I was treated as for a long time. You got a pussy and you got some money, so come here, you know. And
I think I was basically a sugar mama to my first karmatic.
Exactly. Yeah, you can be, and I was too, actually, to you know, in a lot of ways to my karmatic situation as well. And so it's like that sugar mama approach and all that. There can be, people say 50-50. Fuck that. I want 100 and 100. I want a complete and solid relationship. I want to be only the thing that you think about. You're all I think about. So this poor woman right here has to go through. She went stage 1. She did the really physically abusive and emotionally abusive. Stage 2. She still was allowing the mental abuse, but when the emotional abuse finally showed its head, she said no, and she found out, okay, no more. So now we're on the third karmatic.
The third karmatic. That one it wasn't any type of abuse at all, which was such a relief, because it was so nice. But the thing was with that one, we were in a non-relationship. We did everything a relationship couples did. He lived with me, we did things together, but we never titled it as a relationship.
Yeah, no.
But unbeknownst to me, he was still talking to his ex-girlfriend. And he told me, now I'm just taking his word, he told me she one day met him at an airport and was like, I'm cheating with your ex. I'm moving with him to Michigan. I'm leaving. And so when we met, it was a healing process for both of us. It's basically what it was, because I was already 6 months out from being away from my karmatic. He was 2 weeks. And I was like, okay, well, and he was telling me everything that happened. I said, well, I've been through that, so if you need someone, I'm here. But yet, that's where my humbleness comes from. I'm like, I'll help you. I've been through that. If you need someone. He said, okay, that would be helpful. So, and it was hurtful because he was talking to her, and I overheard a conversation where he said, I loved you. And it got to the point where the conversations that he had, not only it was texting, but it was like, I was like, hey, if you're trying to get over her, you need to stop texting her. Leave her alone. She was probably his karmatic. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? And I said, you just need to leave her alone. You need to build yourself back up, make sure you're okay. As she's always telling me, make sure you are good with yourself. Mm-hmm. And physical, emotional, everything you need, spiritual, whatever it is you need. So, and the conversation got to where it would go outside, and it would be secret. And I heard the point where he said, I love you. And I've told him twice, I think, get your stuff, leave. Because if you're going to sit there and do that with her, and this I love you, and I'm not playing this, piece of shit game with you.
There can only be one.
There will only be one, and it will be me. But kick your ass out. So, and this is where I really knew it was. I was thankful that we weren't in that, in that relationship mentality. That's what I was grateful for. But it got to the point where my birthday is in June, on the 1st. He left on my birthday 2 years ago to go with a friend of his that was in Ohio that came down for his brother and sister's high school graduation. And he didn't come back until the middle of June for 1 day. And I got maybe 2 phone calls.
Oh my gosh.
And when he came back, and it was the 17th of June, I never forget it because of 2 reasons. Number 1, of that day, and number 2, that was the start that I had the job that I have now. I've been there for 2 years. And it was a curse and a blessing day. The curse part was, he called me, he said, hey, I'm at your house. I was out, and he said, I'm at your house, come meet me. I said, okay. I went home, and there he was, and he said, I need to have a talk with you, let's go take a walk. I was like, I had this inky feeling, and I was like, I don't like where this is going. He never said a word, he just said, let's go take a walk. I said, okay, because we used to just go take walks, and...
Oh, okay, I was like, if it wasn't something that happened all the time, I'm all, no.
Yeah, no.
You don't have a bag with you, right? Let me pat you down real quick. I've been here before.
All right, like, let's put your dukes in. Let's take a walk. I know what that means.
Yeah.
You're
not leaving me in a field, yeah.
So we're walking, and he ends up telling me that he had previously, that year before, he went to go visit his brother who lives in Ohio, because Michigan and Ohio are right there. And I guess she was 10 miles from where his brother was to where she was. And he texted me one night, and it was 3 a.m. my time. I just got in a fight with her. She was here. I went and picked her up. It was her birthday. That's what she wanted. And we got into this fight. And I'm sitting there, and I was like, well, you know what? That was your fault for opening that door when you should have kept it closed. And that was probably my mistake, too. It was because I keep opening these doors. And it took a while to learn, there's this door that you don't open.
Well, it's hard. You don't even know there's a door to begin with.
You don't know it's that door.
So
until you're already there and you realize everything that's happened.
Yep.
So then I was like, well, that's sad. But then he does, remember that day that I texted you and I was having a hard time because we got into a fight? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, we ended up sleeping together, and she's 6 months pregnant with my child. That was my expression exactly right there. Jaw drop and everything. We were walking. I literally stopped, and I was like,
I just got sick to my stomach, and it's not even my story.
That's exactly how I was.
I'm like, I just got sick to my stomach. It's like
everything. She just had an expressive feeling. Everything was what I went through in like 2 seconds. I was just like, wait, what? I was like, so what? And he told me, he said, so I'm moving out, and there's some parents' friends who offered him to stay. And
she for sure got pregnant on purpose, first of all.
I believe that, 100%. But here was the thing. Oh, well, she can't do that because she's got fibromyalgia. She can't be intimate with anyone. So you still got a banana peel, your dick went in her, and she got pregnant? Is that what you're telling me? Like,
yeah.
language, but,
How... there's only one way that works.
Exactly.
You didn't take a syringe and, this is on accident.
This is accident.
You know? Yeah,
right?
no.
Yeah, it was...
Couple margaritas make that fibromyalgia not hurt so bad.
So bad.
You know?
So, yeah, that was... apparently he told me there was Jack Daniels going around there, and I was like,
No
you
shit.
know what?
Fibromyalgia, my ass.
My ass. Now...
If they had been my ass, or her ass, there wouldn't have been no kid, you know what I mean? They maybe some booty play should have been in order. I'm like, I'm being a shit. I might as well do this right.
Right? Like... Just do it the right way.
Oh my gosh, sorry.
So then,
I'm laughing at your pain, my bad.
No, I can laugh at it too. I can laugh at it too. It's okay. I'm laughing at it now. I'm like, oh my god. The one thing that I will say that's still kind of like, because each one, there's something that I've learned from, there's something I'm taking away, but then there's something that's still a residue that's still there.
Yeah.
And it's taken. See, my first Karmatic, that one was like, oh, Jesus, what?
It had to be more than 10 years ago.
10 years ago. That I still have this, something that I've taken away from it, that's still there, but I'm learning to...
We kind of have a pact with each other. We kind of, like, whenever we have a moment, we hit each other up, and we just kind of, like, vent about it. And it's like, the only person that will understand about this particular person would be this person, so we kind of, like,
I've had
unite.
dreams. I've had dreams about... I would have reoccurring nightmares of this person... just at my sliding glass door, just there, and he would just, like that, or I would wake up and I'd still be in a relationship with him, and I would just have this drowning fear of no.
I've only seen him in a dream a couple times, but I always kick his ass, so he better not.
I'm always telling him no. I'm trying to leave. I'm trying to just no. I don't want your cookies. That's what. No cookies for you.
I'm always like sending like giant black dogs after him and things like that. Then they just like rip out his vocal cords and he's like gasping for help, and I'm just like, I'm not even cleaning up the dog shit. Yeah. So anyways, so you're on to number 4. Number 4 has been...
Oh, but back to number 3. Sorry. Number 3 was something that happened I did not expect to happen. And I think what the problem with that was, it was the comfortability of, this is the situation, this is how it is, when I shouldn't have been. I've told him more than once, if you're talking to her, you need to get your shit and you need to leave. But because I didn't follow through with that, which is something I don't ever do, but I didn't follow through that, and I got the comfortability with it.
You're going to start following through with things in your life. Your follow-through is getting better and better every day. You followed through, and you showed up here today.
Yes, and all because of this lady here.
All right. Gotta be a hard ass. Okay, so your follow-through is getting better, but anyways.
So something happened I didn't expect, and that was, I went through a 2-month depression. Because not only dealing with the fact that I felt betrayed by this person, it was the comfortability of how everything was, and I was just taking it to the whole baby thing, and I just couldn't get past it. I went through a 2-month depression to where I didn't eat, I didn't sleep, I was crying 24/7. I didn't know if I would ever get through this. And then I kind of met someone, and it was the exact same situation. The only difference with that one is, I went through 3 to 4 day depression with that, but I got over it quickly.
Because it already happened.
And it already happened. It was already, I knew what to do, and I said, you know what, I'm cutting off ties. I'm done. Because I will not go through that again.
Wow. And for anybody wondering at home, yes, I will be polisanting and saging her before I send her anywhere after this. Yeah.
Give it to me. I'm like, the Karmatics were that light where I was like, oh, it's a light, I must go to it. But then now I'm that light to where all the bad people are like, you must come here. And I'm like, no, I don't.
But at least you know what it is now.
Yes.
And with each one, you are getting, like, a lot smarter with it, and you don't... So, okay, so, like, just a recap. First one was super physically and mentally abusive. Second one was mentally abusive. The second they tried to be physically abusive, she was out. The third one was an emotional roller coaster of just BS and abuse and, I mean, betrayal. I mean, how much can you be betrayed, but, you know, you're the person you're telling, oh, no, I love you, and then, oh, but I got her pregnant. Well, I'm sorry. Like she said, you don't slip on a banana peel and you get somebody pregnant. That's not how that happens. So, I mean, the amount of things that have happened and have gone through, that's, I mean, but she's learned something each and every time from this. So now she's at the point where when this person did the same thing, but this wasn't a karmatic, it was just a flyby. The emotional response from her wasn't a dramatic one. She knew that this isn't a reflection on her, it's a reflection on them, and she was able to kind of move past that a little bit easier than she had in the past. So that brings us to number 4, right?
Number 4.
Okay.
This one was not... I don't even know how to describe it, because I met him, but he lived in San Diego, and I live here in Little Clovis.
California. You're so good at that. Anytime I start singing, this girl, right? Yeah, that's good.
So then, so I met him, and he obviously is like 400 miles? 400 miles apart. He came, it was January when I met him. He came once in January, he came up to visit me, then twice in February, like back-to-back weekends. And then I didn't know the next time I'd see him, so we made plans to go see each other in March. I was actually a best friend of mine who was like, hey, if you want, I have family that's over in Anaheim. We'll go drive down there. We can meet in Anaheim. You can go visit him. I'll go visit my sister. We meet back together. Come home. Boom. I said, perfect. Road trip. So I was like, okay. So I went and I visited him, and you know, it was, we'll get to that later. So fast forward, March 17th. I don't know what, 17th must be my unlucky number, because
you have a lot of dates.
I have a lot of 17. My second karmatic, it was February the 12th. I won't forget that day. But it was March the 17th. I went to go visit him. It was St. Patty's Day weekend. I went to go visit him. And then I didn't see him again. Actually, I never saw him again after that. But it was just text messages, phone calls. So it was.
Yeah, you're gonna fuck me on the table. She's look, she's all sweet and innocent, and that's her ringtone.
My boss heard that go off in my locker, and she goes, "I need to talk to you." I was like, "What?" And she was like, "I heard your ringtone." I was like, "Oh my god!" And she goes, "I never knew that about you." I said, "Well, you don't know me outside of work, so."
Hey, yeah. Sometimes don't judge a book by its cover.
Sometimes the innocent ones are the fun ones.
I didn't think I've never heard that song. I had no idea I was gonna say that.
That's from Adore Delano from RuPaul's Drag Race.
Is that a? What, I don't
she's
know.
She's a drag lady. He's a drag. She's
I don't. Oh yeah,
she's a lady boy.
I don't watch TV. I don't know.
I don't watch TV either, but when I used to, yeah. And I like the songs. There was a couple of them I have on my.
Okay, gonna fuck me on the table. I'm like, all right, whatever.
You're like, let's go.
We're past the karmatics. We're on to the people who are gonna give us what we want.
Yes.
Some beeping on the table, apparently.
Beeping on the table.
So, anyways, before that.
So, but then it was. He was a manipulator, as all the other ones were. It's your fault why you're not communicating with me. But I would text him every minute. I was going to school, I was working, and I helped take care of my grandparents. And, you know, every minute that I had, it was, hey, I'm thinking about you. Let me send you a quick note real quick. You know, like, oh, like, I'm so happy that you're here. That, you know, I honestly, and I thought he wasn't a karmatic. I thought he wasn't, because I had that feeling that I'd never had. It was I felt warm, and I felt full, and I felt, you know, satisfied, content, happy, all of that good bubble stuff. But then, like, as months, never saw him again, and it was hard to schedule time to see him when his family lived in Visalia.
And they would make plans and break plans.
Make plans and break plans. Empty promises and broken wishes don't do anything. And that's all I would ever get was, oh, I wish we could do this. I wish we could do that too. But if you don't...
We make time for the things we really want, though, don't we?
We do.
I mean...
I made time to talk to him to let him know, hey, I'm still here for you. But...
And how long that went on? For a year, right?
For a year, but I... And this is where the tricky part comes. I already assumed after that year, and the fact that when he told me, oh, I'm done with school, but then on Facebook he would post him going this place and that place and Long Beach, and I'm like, but you could have spent that with me. That technically, I was like, okay, I'm done with this. But I still kept in contact with him because I'd hoped something would change. And it never did.
One day I'm going to be important enough that he's going to realize, oh, me.
I mean, I'm going to let her know that I'm here and I'm caring for her. But again, it was that carrot that was there. I'm going to say pho, because if it was pho, I'd be like, Even though I love carrots, but it was that danglement that caught me yet again, and it was when we would have a conversation. It was text, and you can't have a relationship with text.
No,
it's not how that works. And so I would get a couple phone calls every 3-4 months, if that maybe, but it was constant texting, and it was oh well, we just need to spend time together. And I told him one time, I remember telling him, I said, look, sometimes I don't know if I should just fight you or just be intimate with you sometimes, because I'm so angry that this happens. But again, he was that light that I was still drawn to. And he told me, he goes, we just need time together and time alone. And it was always time alone is what he wanted. It was never with me, with his family. I'm going to want you to meet this person next time I come. No, it was never that. I never met anyone's family.
So it was going to be, like, intimate.
It always was intimate. And it got to the point where I felt like I had to, hey, if I get a room and you come down, would you come see me? Yeah, okay, no problem, sure, I'll be there. Then all of a sudden it turned on a dime. Yeah, I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to spend time with you.
Oh, I get to F her then.
I get to F her then. But then, some friends of mine were, unfortunately not this person, I'm sorry, but some other friends that I was talking to, and they were like, it sounds like you're one of those people where when he comes down, you're someone that he knows he can hook up with. Mm-hmm. And so I told him, I said, look, you know what, I don't want to get a room because I just want what you promised me, which was time to talk and discuss things and iron things out. Then it turned again, and he was like, oh, well, why, it was my fault, why, well, I was, thinking we were going to spend time together. And
we're
be
still
together.
spending time together. We're still spending time together. We're just not going to be naked in between.
But he didn't want that. He was like, no, you know what? Maybe next time. And I never saw him again after that. And it got to the point where I lived my life. Mm-hmm. After that point where I was like, okay, this is not a relationship, but I was still in contact with him. I was living my life. I'd go out on the weekends. I would have fun with friends. I would hang out with people. I could hang out with my guy friends and just be like, you know what? I'm going to have fun. Mm-hmm. Not that anything happened, but, those are my guy friends. I'm going to go have fun, not feel guilty. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is this person, but, whatever. So, I lived my life. I went to San Francisco with another friend. I went with Will to San Francisco. He's actually my soulmate. Not like I love him, but he's the mate to my soul.
Like most people don't realize that you can have more than one soulmate, and a soulmate isn't necessarily going to be a romantic partner. They can be. They totally can be, but a lot of time it's your soul family. So this is somebody that's going to be like a best friend. They're always there with you. They just get you. They understand you. They love you whether you're doing good or doing bad. They're not expecting you to change. They'll root for you if you do, but they're not going to force you into it. Whereas a twin flame is like going to force you. You just in yourself, you're forcing yourself because you want to be your best self, to be your best self for this person. And then also what I think this person that you're talking about now isn't necessarily a karmatic, but actually what they call a false flame. Because this is the thing that's the difference between a karmatic and a false flame. A karmatic, the second you're with them, you're like, you almost regret that you are, and you're like trying to claw to get away, but the second you're away from them, you're like clawing to get back. And so it's like this weird, like, cycle. Push me, pull you, where, like, the second you make up, and the second it's all better, you instantly regret it. You're like, oh, fuck, now I'm with them longer. No, God, I wonder how long I'm going to be here.
And those were the dreams I had in my first karmatic.
Yeah.
And in my second one, too,
Yeah. So you can think about, that's what that is. And then so this last person, he seems like,
I thought he was the one. I felt that bubble of,
that's that twin flame feeling, but it's actually a false flame. And I feel like that's the kind of, if the karmatics are there to teach us our big lessons, and we're like a rock and we're being tumbled by the ocean, right? Let's picture our false flame as which actually your first karmatic was my false flame. Okay, so that's how that worked, all right? He was my false flame, because I got that really good feeling, but then it was all bad at the same time, but I was confused by why it was so bad, because he made me feel so good at the same time as making me feel so bad. So, like, that's where her fourth was making her feel. He made her feel really, really good, and everything she wanted and everything she could hope for. At the same time, he could drag her down to the bottom. So that's a false flame, and what that last one is for is to kind of be the sand that polishes the stone of your soul. So, like, if the karmatics are the big ones, they take off the rough edges, they're, like, really chopping you down, and polishing you to who you're going to be, then this false flame that's going to be like the the polishing stone, and it sucks because you're like, oh man, I got this feeling. But then when you actually meet your twin flame, it's like it's unlike anything that you can. It's that fairy tale relationship that you've been looking for, that you didn't know existed, that you thought was only in movies, that you thought was only in books. It's that complete understanding. It's that complete perfect partner, that complete friendship, and it doesn't come along with all the bad things. And when you do have a little tiff, you guys talk it out. You get over it. You guys come to an understanding that's equally beneficial. It's not a one-way street on them. They like to be equal. Mm-hmm. So, like, even though he is a karmatic influence in the way that his stuff was very karmatic, I do believe that your fourth was your false flame. And with that being said, that means that you're like right around the corner from being done with all this BS anyways. And that's only a reflection on how she's been working on herself. Because it's not like you go through all these jerks and then you just automatically are given your twin flame. Like, you have to be the one searching for who am I and be your true self. However that true self is, that's how you have to be. So anyway, sorry going on my little rant.
No, it's fine.
I felt like that was relative information. So anyways, go on.
Oh, so I think when I ended it with him, it was my fourth my false flame was he accused me of cheating. I have never cheated in any relationship I've ever been in, even in that false relationship, but my third karmatic. Mm-hmm. But I would constantly fight with myself. No, he's not the one. Well, maybe he could be, but he just needs to get his shit together. Mm-hmm. But then he's not, because he's doing this to me. And then she even told me he's not. He's not. And I was like,
The worst thing that your twin flame will do to you is not talk to you. That's the worst thing that they're going to do to you. They're not going to go out of their way to hurt you over and over. They're not going to go out of their way to make you feel like an idiot or whatever. The worst thing they're going to do is not be in your life and remove themselves from your life, and that's called the separation point, which is very, very cruel and hard and harsh. But if it wasn't for that, nobody peaks to their full potential unless they feel it and then they get it taken away. But it's a complete separation, and if he was a twin flame, he wouldn't have dangled that carrot. It would have just been like gone, you know what I mean, 100%. Whereas she's kind of getting dicked around a little bit. It's like, oh, come here, I love you, oh, back and forth, push me, pull you. So
so then he was accusing me of cheating, and I was like, I've never cheated on you, nor have I ever. But as I showed her all the conversations that we had, she was like, he was probably seeing someone else. And my family even said the same thing, too. They were like, it sounds like a situation where because he was told me he was married twice before. And he was like, well, sounds like he's still married. And I was like, what? It was that shock. But, but the thing that upset me about that whole situation was I was fighting with myself, and she told me, no, he's not it. And I was like, but are you sure? I'm like, no, maybe she could be wrong, and I'm so sorry that I know. I'm so sorry. Don't curse me or something else.
Well, I'm not gonna curse you. What is this? No, I just.
She's like,
there's sometimes I wish I was wrong. Not yet, not so far. Well, not so far.
She did a reading for me, and it was so much on that level that. It flicked that light on that, and I think that's from that was where I started growing and saying, he's not the one. I'm not gonna waste my time. Because there's no point.
Well, I think what it is they're really good at making you feel like that if you don't have them and if you're not with him, that you're not going to get anything better than this. But when you look at what you've had, it's not that great either.
It's not.
You're like thinking about, wait a second, why are you in my mind? I can't really even remember what it was that made us feel like we had this connection in the first place, because I haven't seen you in a year.
And I still don't know what it was that, probably when we met, no, maybe when we met I kind of had an inkling, because it was just like, I don't know, it was just that feeling.
I was given a warning by your first karmatic, my false flame, of what he was from him before we started dating.
Oh.
And he told me about certain things about him that normally would scare people off. But my thought was, well, I'm not perfect, and I deserve love, don't I? So if I deserve love, that means that they deserve to try to be loved too. And I've always had this thing with, like, scary animals don't scare me. They could be, like, growling, snarling animals don't frighten me at all. I've seen glowing red eyes and walked towards them in the middle of the night. It doesn't scare me. Things don't scare me. My twin flame was covered in blood the first time I saw him, and I thought it was sexy. I was like, oh, you're hot. You know what I mean? Most people are like, oh my god, that guy's got a knife and he's covered in blood. It was at a haunted house, all right? But still, I was like, you know, it doesn't scare me. So when this person told me this very scary fact about them that I kind of was questioning if it was a fact or a false, anyways, it didn't frighten me. I took it more of like an opportunity to try to help somebody, or to try to like love somebody that maybe wouldn't get love if they didn't get it from me, because I'm the only one brave enough to handle a situation like that. And I feel like those things kind of, they feed on that, and they're put in our path to kind of see, like, test us almost. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually about to be moving back into the house where my Karmatic lives, but he's not my problem anymore. And it's not his house, it's my friend's house, but they have an extra room, and my animals live there, and I haven't been able to find a place to live where I can have my animals. So this will be the 5th time I'm living in this house. But I've been going over, and I've been trying to help clean it up and try to help do things to make it better, because if I have to live there, it has to be different. There's no way that I can go there and be with these people. But it is already different because my Karmatic is not my problem. Mm-hmm. At all.
That's how I feel about all mine. Not my problem.
He's not my problem. I was over there the other night, I had to be, because I watched dogs and stuff, and he was upset about something, and it really wasn't my problem, and I didn't take on that anger, and I didn't get frustrated, and I didn't worry about if he was okay. I didn't worry about what he needed, because he's not my problem. He's not. And
same thing with mine. I'm like,
I have my twin flame love. We're solid. I feel like this is a test for me, because it's like, oh, you're Miss Guru, you're Miss Life Coach, you're Miss Cool and Calm and Collected. Let's put you in the house where you were most upset. Let's put you in the house where you thought about taking your life, where you thought about the world hates you, where you couldn't get dressed because you were so depressed. Let's test this Gandhi of you. Let's test this Gandhi. And so, like, that's totally what I feel like I'm going through right now, and I'm totally okay with it. I'm fine, because I know at the end of the day that I am there to help the woman that's there, really, that she's part of my, I have to help her somehow. For some reason, God wants me to help her, so I'm there to do that. My karma is not my problem. My Karmatic is not my problem. There's a dog in that house I named Karma who lives in that house, who's literally eaten all of my stuff, and I'm not even afraid of that dog right now. I'm like, nah. You're not going to eat any of my shit. We're over our shit, Karma. Which, I'm serious. I accidentally suggested the name Karma, and she eats all my shit. Like, she even killed my bird. It was horrible. Oh. But, yeah, I'm a blue jay. But I'm just saying, so, like, when you get to these points and you're like, man, will I get past it? Yeah, you can. But is it work? Did you work? Was that hard? Was this easy for you?
It was not easy. But it got easier.
Yeah.
Because you feel that stuck. You're just, there's no way out, and you think about any way you can get out, and you don't think that there's any possible way. But when that moment hits you, it's gonna hit you, and you're gonna take it, and you're gonna get out of it, and it's gonna be the best thing you can do for your life.
Now, after you leave, I will say there's a relapse period in my mind for like 5 days or so, where you're contemplating, did I do the right thing? Did that happen to you?
It did.
Okay, so how do you get past that?
I believed in myself, and what the decision I made was right, because it wasn't something that was going anywhere, and I could see that it's not going anywhere. It's not getting better, but it's not getting worse. It's just not going anywhere. And the fact that I'm strong enough to get past that, I took that opportunity, I was strong enough to take it and to get past it. Yeah, did I feel like I made a mistake? A little bit. I was a little teary-eyed, because I did feel like I cared for this person.
Well, it was years that you were liking this person, right?
Yeah, it was about 1.5 years.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Then I felt like, I was attached to this person. But because, like I said, I believed in myself and my strength, I could get past it. I can get through it. This is not something that, is new to me. I've been through this before. Is it a little different? Yes. But I can and will get through this. And I'm just taking it day by day. And I'm doing fabulous. I feel the positive energy coming back into me. I don't feel that draining.
You look really good. You showed up today. Your hair's all nice. She looks all cute. She's got blue going on, which I mean, Mercury's all happy, and she doesn't even know it. Well, she didn't even know.
I didn't even know. I know that now.
So,
and I got my blue cup, so everything is
communication, right? That's actually my cup of communication. I love that. I feel like I bought it literally because it's blue, and it's to focus on here and here, and it's like I want to speak my mind's truth, and so when I drink out of that cup, I say, you know, thank you for letting everything I say to be true, and allow it to be, you know, like you know, helpful and good and things like that. So I don't know, my special cup.
I will say also, she gave me a Labradorite, and it's a man. If I'm just in my room and if I feel like, because I have a hard time falling asleep, so I'll, you know, do what I normally do, but I'll put it either right here on my head because I'm laying down, or I'll put it like right here, or I'll just hang on to it. Like I literally sleep with it in my hand. When I wake up, it's like underneath me, but it's always in my hand. And if I feel, you know, like I'm just having one of those nights or just one of those days where I'm just like, it's just one of those days, that I just grab it and I just sit there and she taught me a meditation. Just breathing, to just sit there and breathe for a second. I'll do that, but I sleep with that thing like every night, and it's awesome.
I have a chunk of Labradorite like this big that I sleep with, and like last night there was some things going on. There's been some things going on. I think because I am changing a lot of things in people's lives, and a lot of drastic things that haven't changed in a lot of. I've got somebody I'm working with in particular that there's things that really like where they are. They don't want that person to get better. And so I've had a little bit of attacks kind of. But I know how to protect myself from that. But last night I had my giant chunk of Labradorite, and it's something like I could feel something sit on my bed, and I was like, nope, go away. And I said it out loud, and my little hand shot out and touched my Labradorite, and as soon as it touched it, that cold stone, I felt the Labradorite pulsing in my hand. Like I felt it, and like a thing went away, and I was like, yep. And it's like, go away. My rock, you know. When people jump, I'm like, don't jump in my bed, there's might be rocks in there. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, at any given time I have 1 to 3 stones in my bed. So but I'm so happy that that's been working for you, and that's one of those things you got to look to see what's going to help you too. And if you're somebody who needs to progress through change, I do suggest Labradorite. It helps you progress through change, and it might be changes that you find have been too difficult for you to do in the past, but are something that you actually really needed to happen. So
it's that gliding guide. There you
go.
It's easy.
I love it.
I think that's too. I think that's also what's been getting through. You know, I'll sit there and I'll hold down and be like, you know what, I can get through this. I will get through this. I have the strength. I have the power to do it within myself. And so far,
that's really what it is like giving yourself that power and that trust in yourself, that belief in yourself, that like you don't need that person in your life, that you have something better. And then if you think about what you've given to what you've gotten, chances are your scale's going to be a little tipped. And when you're seeing that it's tipped in your favor, that you're the one that's been giving, think about that there is an equal person for you that's going to give just as much, and those scales one day will be equal. And I have found that person, and like as proof, that was him that popped up and gave me a little kisses right there. Although she saw it happen while we were here. His little face is still up. Thank you, messenger. And I was like, but yeah, you there is that. So if you feel like, oh no, there's nobody out there for me, yeah, I swear to God there is. There really, really is. But you have to allow there to be room for that person to come in your life, and that can't happen if you're holding on to the past.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you want to say to them?
Believe in yourself. Yes. And she helps.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. So if you guys need readings, I actually have a Mercury retrograde special going on. I think I'm going to post this week or next week, so it'll still probably be going on. But if not, I always have some kind of something going on, and I'm willing to work with people. I never ask questions before readings. I'm here to help. No. So. Well, thank you so much, Jessica.
Thank you.
This has been epic.
I missed you.
I missed you too. Anybody who has, questions, I think she has a Facebook, Jessica Hamilton at Facebook, right?
At Facebook, yeah.
Yeah, so go ahead, and if you have questions about, maybe
anything,
how to, if you think that she could help you maybe get through something that you've got going on, I think she says feel free to message her.
Go for it.
So
I'm an easy person to talk to. I'm an open person to
right?
talk to.
And sometimes just knowing that somebody's been through what you've been through is
helps.
all that you need. And so if you feel like you've been touched by this and you just need that little bit of confirmation, I'm sure she's a nice enough person to be willing to talk to you. And
Always.
then I'm nice enough to talk to you. And then if you need like extra help, You know what I mean? I've got services and things like that. And I mean, look around at your local people too, if you've got somebody in your family or whatever. But sometimes we need to go outside of that because they're judging because they're too close to see the problem. So that's the only thing on that. Yeah. But anyways, I love you all so, so much. Please be sure to check out Patreon. Patreon is what supports this show. So if you like this show, you want to see more of it, check out Patreon. Even $1 a month really, really, really supports it. If you guys want a special video on something, I do take video requests, so leave the comment below. Hit the subscribe button, wherever it is, somewhere on one of the corners. Hit the bell, all of that, and we will talk to you later. Love you all. Bye.
Bye. Fabulous people.